So here is a technique for finding the coordinates of a point that are a given distance from one point to another point. Okay, in this case, you have C as -2, 4. On this Desmos graph, it was actually P sub 1, and D is P sub 2. And if we calculate the total distance, it's 6.08. If we want to get a quarter of that distance, we'd take a fourth of that. But the question is, how do you find the coordinates of this point? And here's the formulas that you're using, where K is the fraction of the distance. So what we want to do is calculate, think of this as delta X, the change in X as we move from point 1 to point 2. Well, if you take the destination point or the target point, X coordinate, minus the target or the source or beginning point X coordinate, you get this distance right here, which is 6. And if you do the same thing for the Y coordinates, 3 minus 4 is -1. In other words, you have to go down 1 to get from point 1 to point 2 in a vertical direction. And if you take a fourth of these numbers and add them to these coordinates respectively, you'll get the coordinates of point P. Now, why does that work? Because this little triangle right here is similar to the big triangle with the red dashed base. And the triangles are similar, their corresponding sides are in proportion. So that's why we can take a fourth of -1 is -0.25. That's this little distance right here. And add that to the -4 or to the 4 to tell us what the Y coordinate of point P will be, 3.75. And for the change in X, a fourth of that total distance, which is in the positive direction, is 3/2 or 1.5. If we add 1.5 to the -2, that takes us this distance right here, 1.5. And which brings us to an X coordinate of -0.5. Okay, and that means that this distance will be in the same ratio as the change in Y and change in X. Okay, so this formula right here looks kind of weird, but this P1.x is really the -2 plus this K is the 1/4, and P2.x minus P1.x is really this 6 right here, and the same for the change in Y. Okay, so there's the formulas that you can use to find your the coordinates of the point that you're looking for. There you go. Hope that helped. I'll send you a link to this Desmos graph. You can play around with that.